My wife laughed. Ha! You think you know everything about me? After I questioned her stories, I said, not everything. When the private investigator I'd hired 6 months earlier delivered his report with photos, we both learned something new. I, 38 male, been married to Veronica, 36, for 9 years. We've got 2 kids, 7 and 5. Always thought we had a solid marriage. Both working professionals, decent house, the whole suburban dream package. About 8 months ago, something started feeling off. Veronica's schedule got weird. She'd always been in pharmaceutical sales, traveling maybe twice a month. But suddenly, it was every week. Sometimes weekends. The expenses she submitted for reimbursement didn't match up with where she said she was going, like claiming she was at a conference that I later found out ended 2 days before she came home. Started noticing other things too. New clothes that never appeared on our credit card statements. She'd mentioned coworkers I'd never heard of in 7 years at that company. Phone always face down. You know the signs. Had a gut feeling. Not necessarily an affair, but something. So I hired a PI. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But I needed to know what was going on before confronting her. The retainer was $2,500, and honestly, worth every penny for peace of mind. Fast forward to 2 months ago. I casually brought up one of her work trips. Asked her about the hotel she stayed at, because I was planning a surprise weekend for us in the same city. She got defensive immediately. Why are you interrogating me about my work trips? Just trying to plan something nice. The Marriott downtown good? That's when she laughed. Not a normal laugh. This bitter, condescending laugh. Huh? You think you know everything about me? You think you can track my every move? Maybe focus on your own life instead of obsessing over mine. I stayed calm. Not everything. She rolled her eyes and walked away. Little did she know the PI had been documenting everything for 6 months by then. Last week, he delivered his final report. 200+ pages. Photos, documents, financial records he'd legally obtained through public record searches. Here's where it gets interesting. She wasn't having an affair. She had a whole second career. Turns out, my wife hadn't worked in pharmaceutical sales for 2 years. She'd been fired for expense fraud, claiming personal trips as business expenses. Instead of telling me, she created an elaborate cover story. Fake pay stubs. Fake business trips. Even had a friend at her old company forwarding her company emails to keep up appearances. But here's the kicker. She was actually making more money than before. She'd started an online business dropshipping products, was pulling in about $15K a month, had an office space across town, employees, the whole deal. All hidden from me. The business trips? She was attending e-commerce conferences, meeting suppliers, the new clothes, bought with her business credit card to look successful for her YouTube channel where she teaches people about dropshipping. 47K subscribers watching my wife give business advice while she lies to her husband about having a job. The friend she was staying with during trips? Another lie. She was getting hotels in our own city, living a double life 20 minutes from our house. When I confronted her with the report, she went pale. Then the entitlement kicked in. This is my business, my success. You would have tried to control it or take credit for it. I would have supported you. No, you would have mansplained how to run it better. How to optimize this or that, like you do with everything. So you lied for 2 years? Created an entire fake life? I didn't lie about everything. I was making money, contributing to the household. With money I didn't know existed, from a business I didn't know about, while pretending to have a job you were fired from for fraud. She actually tried to spin it. Said she was protecting me from stress. That she didn't want me to worry when she got fired. That she planned to tell me once the business was successful enough. It is successful. I have employees. I'm helping thousands of people start their own businesses. While lying to your own family. Here's what I've done so far. 1. Consulted a divorce attorney. Because the business was started and funded during our marriage, it's a marital asset. That $300K she's got sitting in her business accounts, half is legally mine. 2. Froze our joint credit cards, which she hadn't been using anyway, apparently. 3. Documented everything for custody purposes. The multiple nights she was traveling, but actually in a local hotel, working on her business while I handled bedtime alone. 4. Reached out to a few of her students from her YouTube channel with proof that the successful businesswoman they're learning from is a fraud who was fired for expense theft and lies to her own family. Her credibility is about to take a massive hit. She's staying at her secret office space now. Sent me 73 texts yesterday, ranging from, "Please let me explain," to "You're destroying everything I built," to "The kids need their mother." The irony? If she'd just been honest about getting fired, we could have figured it out together. I make decent money, we wouldn't have starved. Instead, she built this elaborate deception that's now going to cost her half her business, her reputation, and her marriage. Update coming soon. Meeting with lawyers tomorrow. Update 1. Wow, this exploded. Wasn't expecting that. Quick update because tomorrow is the big meeting. First, Veronica went nuclear. After I wouldn't respond to her texts, she showed up at my work. Security had to escort her out when she wouldn't leave. She was screaming about how I was jealous of her success and couldn't handle a woman making more money. My boss pulled me aside after. Turns out, Veronica had called the office earlier that morning, claiming I was having a mental breakdown and shouldn't be allowed to make any financial decisions. She'd actually tried to get them to put me on administrative leave. Fortunately, my boss knows me well enough to see through that. Then came the social media campaign. She posted on her YouTube channel about going through a difficult time with an unsupportive partner, and how successful women often face backlash from insecure men. Her followers started flooding my LinkedIn with messages about toxic masculinity. Had to make everything private. But here's where she screwed herself. In her emotional video, she admitted to pivoting careers without full transparency. Several people in the comments started asking questions. Wait, so you've been teaching us about business ethics while lying? Did you really get fired from your last job? One of her former coworkers saw the video and commented with receipts. Screenshots of the company-wide email about her termination for expense fraud. Suddenly, her inspiring story of entrepreneurship looked very different. Her business partner, oh yeah, she has a business partner I didn't know about, called me yesterday. Turns out, he only knew her professional persona too. Had no idea she was married with kids. He's panicking because they just signed a lease on a warehouse space, and he's realizing his partner is a pathological liar. He's already talking to his lawyer about dissolving the partnership. The kids keep asking when mommy's coming home from her business trip. That part breaks my heart. Meanwhile, I did something petty but satisfying. Remember those fake pay stubs she created? I forwarded them to the IRS fraud department. See, she was showing me stubs for a $75,000 salary, but telling the IRS she had no W-2 income. That's tax fraud. The penalty for that could be up to $250 plus interest. My lawyer says her hiding assets and income during marriage is going to play very badly in court. The fact that she was fired for fraud and continued a pattern of deception makes her credibility 0. Veronica's lawyer, yes, she already has one, sent a proposal. She wants to keep the business, the kids 50-50, and wants ME to pay her support because, on paper, she's been unemployed for 2 years. The audacity. My counter. I get 70% custody, documented all the nights she was traveling. She buys out my half of the business for $150 and no spousal support either direction. Oh, and she needs to complete a psychological evaluation before unsupervised visits with the kids, because someone who can lie this extensively for this long needs help. Tomorrow is the first mediation meeting. We'll update after. Update 2. The mediation was something. Veronica showed up in a $3,000 suit I'd never seen before. Guess the secret business was doing really well. She brought her lawyer, her business mentor, some guy named Dimitri who kept calling her V and talking about manifesting abundance, and her mother. Yeah, she brought her mom, who apparently also didn't know about any of this and spent the first 20 minutes crying about how she raised her better than this. My lawyer presented everything. The PI report, the fake stubs, the IRS filing, the office lease she signed without my knowledge using our home address as collateral. That last one was news to me too. If her business failed, they could come after our house. Veronica's response? Everything I did was for this family. I'm the victim here. The mediator actually laughed. Ma'am, you committed fraud against your employer, tax fraud against the government, and financial fraud against your spouse. Please explain how you're the victim." That's when Dimitri stood up and started talking about society's constraints on female entrepreneurs and how I was weaponizing the patriarchal legal system. The mediator told him to sit down or leave. He left, but not before telling Veronica she was too divine for this energy. Then came the real bombshell. My lawyer had done additional digging. The business? It's not as successful as she claimed. She's been borrowing from it to pay herself, creating fake invoices to justify the withdrawals. Classic embezzlement from her own company. Her business partner confirmed he'd been suspicious about the books for months. Her YouTube revenue? $200 a month at most. Those 47K subscribers? Bought them. The comments and engagement are mostly bots. She's been paying for fake testimonials from her successful students. The entire thing is a house of cards. Her actual net from the business after all the fraud? Maybe $30K total over 2 years. She's been moving money around to make it look like more, but it's smoke and mirrors. The IRS is going to have a field day with this. Veronica broke down. Not sad tears. Angry tears. Started screaming that I made her do this because I'm controlling and suffocating. Said if I'd been a better husband, she wouldn't have needed to create a separate life. Her own lawyer asked for a recess. When we came back, he'd withdrawn from representing her. Said something about irreconcilable differences in legal strategy. Translation: she's too crazy, even for a divorce attorney. Her mother approached me after, apologized, said she's getting Veronica into therapy whether she wants it or not, offered to testify on my behalf about Veronica's fitness as a parent. That's her own mother. Yesterday, the IRS contacted me. The investigation is moving forward. Because we filed jointly for the last 2 years, I had to prove I didn't know about the fraud. Thank God for that PI report showing my good faith effort to uncover the truth. I'm filing for innocent spouse relief. Veronica's business officially collapsed this morning. Her partner locked her out of all accounts and filed a lawsuit for fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. Her empire is gone. The YouTube channel is getting destroyed in the comments. Someone found this Reddit post and linked it in her comments section. Her followers are calling her a fake guru and demanding refunds for her courses. She texted me an hour ago, "I hope you're happy. You destroyed everything." I responded, "No, that was all you." The divorce should be final in 60 days. I'm getting full custody with supervised visits for her pending psychological evaluation. She has to pay me $50 for my equity in the business, what's left of it, and she's taking all the tax liability for her fraud. The kids are doing okay. Told them mommy is sick and needs to get better. They video chat with her every night, supervised by her mother. I'm not happy about any of this. I loved my wife, or at least, I loved who I thought she was. But that person never existed. She was acting the entire time, playing the role of devoted wife and mother while living a completely separate life built on lies. The saddest part, she still doesn't think she did anything wrong. In her mind, she's an entrepreneur who was held back by an unsupportive spouse. The fraud, the lies, the deception, all justified in her pursuit of success. I'm just glad it's almost over. Final update: divorce is final. Thought I'd give one last update for closure. Veronica is living with her mother now. The IRS hit her with $180K in penalties and back taxes. She had to sell everything: her car, jewelry, even her fancy suits. Declared bankruptcy last month. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Remember Dimitri, her business mentor? Turns out he was running his own scam. He'd been using Veronica's business to launder money for his coaching pyramid scheme. He's now under federal investigation, and Veronica is a witness. She might avoid jail time if she cooperates fully. She finally admitted the truth in therapy, her mom told me. She never had a plan. When she got fired, she panicked. Created one lie to cover the firing, then another to explain the money, then another to justify the time away. It spiraled until she couldn't tell what was real anymore. She actually believed she was a successful entrepreneur because she'd repeated the lie so many times. The kids are doing well. They see her every other weekend at their grandmother's house, supervised, but getting better. My daughter asked me last week why mommy had to pretend to be someone else. I told her sometimes adults make mistakes and get confused about who they are. She said, "That's silly. I know who I am." I'm Sophie and I like dinosaurs. Kids, man. They get it. Found out one more thing that explains a lot. Veronica's father, who died when she was 20, lived a double life too. Had a whole second family 2 towns over. Her mom found out after he died. Veronica knew but never told anyone, not even me. Guess she learned from the best that you can just create whatever reality you want and expect everyone to go along with it. I'm dating again, nothing serious. Been very upfront about the whole situation. Most people run for the hills when they hear the story, which honestly is a good filter. The house is peaceful now. No more walking on eggshells wondering what's real and what's not. No more fake business trips or mysterious expenses. Just me, the kids, and our new normal. Veronica sent me a letter last week. Not a text or email, an actual letter. It was 2 pages of how this experience has awakened her authentic self, and she's writing a book about the pressure to perform femininity in capitalist society. She wants to interview me for a chapter on toxic masculine responses to female independence. I threw it in the trash. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if she'd just told me she got fired. We could have worked through it. But then I realize, someone who can lie that extensively, that creatively, for that long, that's who she always was. I just finally saw it. Thanks for following along, Reddit. Your support meant more than you know during the darkest parts of this. Oh, and for anyone wondering, yes, I verified that the PI report was real and not another elaborate deception. At this point, I question everything. But that's probably healthy given what I've been through. Take care of yourselves. Trust but verify. And if your spouse suddenly develops a whole new career overnight, maybe ask a few questions.